What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Lots to talk about today, including there will be more Twitter leaks or drops or receipts or files or whatever today. I don't actually know what time they're going to come out because this is how these journalists are doing it, but I will try to be live around 3 o'clock in the afternoon just to keep an eye on it and recap everything. If we miss it, if I can't stay out live long enough before they come out, well, I tried my best. But last night, we got some very interesting receipts around the Donald Trump removal from Twitter. In fact, what's really interesting about this is, it was hit or miss. The thread was not all bangers, but there were enormous amounts of very important conversations. Basically, Twitter saying in many cases, hey, there's not an excuse to actually ban them, but how can we actually ban them? And the cope from the left has been absolutely wild. The fact that they're pretending like this is a nothing burger, I suppose would have been predictable for some people, but for me, if it were Joe Biden and it happened to him, or Obama and it had happened to him, this would be front page news on every website, and I don't think that anybody could disagree with that. But that's why you're watching me, and I appreciate that. There's a subscribe button down below so you don't miss a single thing. Please click that now. I'm not going to read the entire thread. I'm just going to focus on the most important ones. So Taibbi released some stuff about Trump getting banned. He then says the first installment covers the period before the election through J6. That's what we covered last night. Tomorrow, Shellen will be releasing a second part that will detail the chaos inside Twitter the day after. Then on Sunday, Bari Weiss will reveal the secret internal communications from the key date of January 8th when the ban happened. Whatever your opinion is of the decision to remove Trump that day, the internal communications at Twitter J6 through J8 have a historical import. Even Twitter's employees understood that moment was a landmark moment in freedom of speech. They said, is this the first sitting head of state to ever be suspended? It's funny that they call him the head of state and not the president. But as soon as they finished banning Trump, Twitter executives started processing new power. They prepared to ban future presidents and White Houses, even perhaps Joe Biden. The new administration, says one exec, will not be suspended by Twitter unless absolutely necessary. Interesting, right? Twitter executives removed Trump in part over what one executive called the context surrounding actions by Trump and supporters over the course of the election and, frankly, the last 4 years. In the end, they looked at a broad picture, but that cuts both ways, meaning there was no one real bannable offense. They were just saying, hey, we don't like what he's been tweeting over a period of time, so we're going to do it. The bulk of the internal debate leading to Trump's ban took place in those 3 January days. Before J6, Twitter was unique mix of rules-based enforcement and more subjective moderation by senior execs, as Bari Weiss reported. The firm had a vast array of tools for manipulating visibility, most of all were thrown at Trump, most of all of which were thrown at Trump and others pre-J6. Now, after J6, internal Slacks show how Twitter executives getting a kick out of intensified relationships with federal agencies. Here, Trust and Safety head Yoel Roth lamented a lack of generic enough calendar descriptions to conceal his, quote, very interesting meetings with the FBI, DHS, and others. He talks here, very boring business meetings that definitely not about Trump. Pretty much, definitely not meeting with the FBI, I swear. These kids essentially were drunk with power, and the idea that they could, ban the sitting president made them very excited. Very excited. And you have one particular Slack channel offers a unique window into the evolving thinking of top officials at 2021. Now, this is less exciting. I'm going to skip over this. The latter group, this is what's funny. So they post a Trump tweet in here saying, breaking news, 50,000 voters getting wrong absentee ballots, out of control. And then he calls the election rigged, which is a trigger word, really. Inside Slack, they lamented that it was actually true. A rigged election would be enough to be a violation, right? Like they're all excited. Oh, can we ban him? Can we ban him? Can we ban him? Yoel Roth says, if the claim were in fact inaccurate, yes, but it looks like it's true. So they're like, no, what he said was true and we can't ban him. This is a travesty. During this time, executives were also clearly liaisoning with federal enforcement and intelligence agencies about moderation of election-related content. While we're still at the start of reviewing the Twitter files, we're finding out more and more about these interactions every single day. Policy Director Nick Pickles was asked if they should say Twitter detects, quote, misinformation through ML, human review, and partnerships with its outside experts. The employee asks, I know that's been a slippery process. Not sure if you want to public explanation to hang on that. Essentially what they're saying is, you know, the FBI is telling them what to do. Nick Pickles writes, can we just say partnerships? Like they're hoping to obfuscate the fact that they're working with federal law enforcement. Example, not sure if we describe the FBI, DHS as experts or some NGOs that aren't academic. That's who they're working with. The FBI, Department of Homeland Security, NGOs. That's who's telling them what to remove from the platform in plain text. You see, FMI weekly sync with the FBI, DHS, DNI, re-election security. This meeting happened about 15 minutes after the aforementioned hacked materials implosion. The government declined to share anything useful when asked. Monthly meeting with FBI, briefed on several ongoing investigations. Essentially, the FBI seemed to be using Twitter as its own information pipeline, deciding what is and what isn't okay to be on the platform. Some of Roth's later Slacks indicated his company Confabs with federal law enforcement involved separate meetings. Here, he ghosts the FBI and DHS, respectively, to go to an Aspen Institute thing, then take a call with Apple. I mean, isn't it interesting how, like, this dude, just one dude, is interfacing with everything, everybody. It's insane to me. Like, I don't even understand how this is not an absolute monster deal. Oh yeah, and somebody said I should be using page down, and they're right. It's smoother. I'm getting better. You guys are making me a better streamer and video personer. So Nick Pickles is up to some shenanigans, absolutely, right? This post about the laptop situation shows that Roth not only met with the FBI and DHS, but with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. I mean, this is insane. Insane. The FBI's second report concerned this tweet. So the FBI was making direct reports. Here the FBI sends reports about a pair of tweets. The second, which involved, don't worry about the dog whining. They're in the office with me, but there's someone outside the door, so they're having a little bit of a melty. The second of which involves a former Tippecanoe County, Indiana counselor and Republican, claiming that between X and X were rejected for errors. So the FBI, we just got a report from the FBI concerning 2 tweets. Why is the FBI worried about individual citizens tweeting information? Isn't that interesting? The FBI flagged the tweet, then it got circulated on enforcement Slack. Twitter cited PolitiFact to say that the first story was proven to be false, then noted the second was already deemed no viability, I think that means, on numerous occasions. So the FBI is working directly with them to have content removed from the platform. And you even see, Trump himself reacts to this, speaking directly to Elon, saying, Elon, the Twitter releases are a revelation in that they show in a very powerful fashion, the FBI and justice illegally colluding, proving conclusively in one more very powerful way that the presidential election was, of course, he uses his rigged and whatever. I don't know if I can even say that on YouTube. What everyone is really waiting to see, however, is the Twitter information and thought processes leading up to the time of the so-called, quote, election, and ultimately the deplatforming of the President of the United States. Big moment in history. Thank you. And Elon replies, including Donald Trump, saying coming soon, because that's going to come today, as far as we know. So it's shocking to me that this isn't on every single news outlet. That's why these YouTube videos are so important. New Twitter files dump reveals frenzied conversations before Trump was banned. How head of safety Yoel Roth met weekly with the FBI and agency flagged election content for moderation. But what they're really saying is you need to ban this. You need to remove this. The Daily Mail and right-leaning websites are the only people actually covering this. They're the only people covering this story, which is absolute insanity to me. I don't get how more people aren't just mind blown. You even have so the left has had some basically terrible takes on this, right? You have Scott Adams too. Look at this. Have the Twitter files revealed any bad intentions within Twitter? Bro, did you even read it, Scott Adams? Have you even read them? Of course they are. They're lamenting the fact that they can't ban certain people. That they were really hey, how can we? Oh, well, it doesn't actually violate policy, but can we find a way? Can we find a way to ban him anyway? That's what they're saying, which is insane to me. Absolute insanity. Scott, and to me, it looks like the employees suffered from narrative poisoning and believe they were making the country a better place. What? Based on what, bro? Literally based on what? I don't even understand. Did you read it? Styx Hexenhammer says, to me, it looks like the government directly colluded with the supposedly private firm to interfere with several elections and promote state propaganda. And the employees wholeheartedly went along with it due to their own personal bias and malice. Oh, yeah, this is an L for you, Scott. I mean, what? Tom Fitton, that may be for the courts to decide. The materials released by Elon Musk are powerful evidence. Prior Twitter management gave false information to users, public officials, and agencies, Congress, shareholders, etc., about its content moderation policies and campaign intervention. President of Judicial Watch. And then they say Twitter files shows evidence they tried to limit harmful tweets in their opinion. Why would Twitter agree to call that shadow banning? You don't go to jail for defining a word differently. What? Why is Scott Adams simping for Twitter? I don't understand. Seriously, why is Scott Adams simping for Twitter? It makes zero sense to me. This whole thing is weird. And of course, the left is trying to define it like a nothing burger, but they're dead wrong too. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you this afternoon for a live stream around 3 o'clock, and we'll talk to you. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video. Turn on your notifications. We'll talk to you again real soon.